Hi, my name's Nick Hawes from the School of Computer Science, and this is one of my robots, Bob. So I work on artificial intelligence, which is the field of creating intelligent machines or intelligent software or any kind of intelligent artifact. Bob is just a machine. Bob is mechanics and electronics and all sorts of stuff. But the role of artificial intelligence is to try and put a brain in his head, or actually in his stomach where the computers are. And we're in artificial intelligence, we're inspired by the brain in many ways. And personally, I'm inspired by it as a sort of proof of concept. We know that there are these kind of artifacts, these creations, this bit of physical stuff that creates all sorts of intelligent behavior. Whether that's actually in humans or in animals, we know that it's capable of a whole range of things. So we're always pushing to try and build robots and program robots that can operate in human environments and operate in the ways that humans do, in particular that can learn and adapt in the way that humans do. And that's the crucial thing. So we're actually now very good at programming robots to do very simple tasks like assemble cars in a very, very controlled environment, or even kind of mow the lawn or hoover your carpet. Now those things are very, very easy to do because the world is very predictable and simple. What we can't do is build or program robots that can adapt themselves or learn the way that humans do. So what's really incredible about the abilities our brains give us is how kind of plastic and adaptable they are, how we learn over time and develop over time. Robots don't do that, or AI systems don't do that. They're kind of a fixed, rigid software system. Now, you could imagine that in that, some of the kind of weights inside the program, kind of like the connections between neurons, if you will, can change and adapt over time. So some things get more kind of prominent, and that allows the robots to adjust their behavior in kind of small ways. But these kind of large functional changes, we don't have kind of the ability or the kind of the software or the knowledge how to program these things. Some people do program them as if you're programming brains. So people create artificial neural networks with synapses and neurons, and they create these things and train them. I don't really follow that approach because I think that gives you a big system and you don't really know what it does. You've just got all these weights and kind of flashing lights and things. So I very much like to recreate at a functional level, and so you can know what's going on. But there you really have this problem of kind of isolated functions. So you have these blocks that do one thing and not another thing. And how do you make the bit of the robot that sees? So we've got some cameras, they're the eyes of the robot. How do you hook them in to the speech, if the robot wants to talk? How do you get them to hook them into memory? All these things happen so naturally in our brain, at least from my perspective as not an expert in the brain. But in a robot or in software, these things are very separate. We have this huge problem about crossing modalities, which again seems to be very natural in a kind of natural system. So we're kind of inspired and we face these challenges. So I'd say the big challenges that we face in robotics that seem to be kind of solved by nature are integrating and learning over time. How do we take all our sensory processing and make a kind of 3D world out of them? And how do we take that and learn from our experiences? How do we learn to get better at things? How do we learn to do new things? You can teach a human just by writing down a series of instructions and give them a series of things they can do in a new environment. A robot, you'd spend a year programming it to do that same task, and then it would only be able to do that one thing. Whereas a human will learn and adapt over time.